Hello everyone, it's John, and hang on, I'll see if he can come. Oh, is he going to hop up? Oh dear, he's being problematic at the moment. Come on, say hello. Everybody that I know loves to say hello, and they reckon that, from what I've seen, you're the main star. Yes. Apparently, I'm second rate in my videos. Apparently, people just come to see you. Oh no, he says, Dad, he's reluctant. Honestly, the minute I grab a camera, Pippin runs off. It's sad. It really is. Or when I see him in a really, really adorable pose, or in a pose that I think is, yes, I know. Whenever I think he's in a really, really spectacular, spectacular pose, and it's something I want to capture. By the time I've grabbed my phone and switched to the camera, he's gone. Does not wish to be taken. So it's very sad, isn't it? It's a hard life being a puppy. Hey? Yeah, I bought him a new rope toy because he's chewed the other one to pieces. So I've got strands of rope all over the house at the moment. So it is a process of having to pick it up, and it's hilarious because we've got a cat called Tara, and she takes great delight in lying on his toys, which annoys him no end because he gets very upset that some other animal has decided that they're going to take his toys. Yes. Yeah. So look, what am I talking about? You're probably, what am I just going to talk about my dog? I could talk about my dog all day because my dog is the best person. So yeah, look, Christmas is never a good time for me, and I think I've always mentioned that. This year it's not particularly good. The group of people that sadly I've been associating with, I don't anymore for a number of reasons. So I'm back to just being me, myself, and I. Oh, and my man. So, and as I have said, I've been going back and looking at my D&D, and as you'll find in a later part of the video, is that I have shown you previously that I've drawn my my maps. I've redone Saltmarsh to my vision, and I've used parts from the Dungeon Master's Guide 3.5, and I've taken it from 5th Ed, and I've taken what I like out of it. Well, what I've done now is that, and you'll see that I've gone and done my. Ooh, this is probably not going to turn out there. That's probably a better way. So you'll find that I really love these little A5 booklets. Now, I can only get them at, believe it or not, Daiso. I don't know if they're available, if Daiso is a chain anywhere outside. I presume they're a Japanese, I believe they're a Japanese store, so to presume they're everywhere else. They're like $100 shop or something like that, although $2.80 is the minimum price, but not everything's $2.80. When they first opened, everything was $2.80, but once I think everything was $2.80. I'm quite sure somebody will probably correct me, but prices have obviously changed depending on the items that they were selling. But these booklets are really, really good. I've done it. I'm not going to show. I don't think the video will it go up. Yeah. So up there is all my A5 booklets, and they were for the For Against Darkness, which I have been up until probably recently religiously following, but I'm really going back to, I guess, the base game now, and just really sticking with it. And I'm just finding that there's just too much. It's like with D&D, where there's just too much, too much being produced, too much. You know, it's like with everything. Everybody just seems to want too much variety, rather than being happy with I don't know, a staple, a staple, a staple diet of options. But you know, this is it. They're available. You know, the diversity of, using that bloody word, that really does annoy me, that word. But the availability of options, that's a better word. The availability of options for people to choose is up to them. You know, I'm just finding that too many options is not helpful. But going back to what I'm doing here, and what you'll see in my video further on, is that you'll see my screen, which I don't know how well that's going to turn out, because obviously, see, I don't have any capacity to screen capture. Look, I'm a penniless pensioner, so and my computer now is, I think, over 2 years old now, so I don't know how much longer the poor old thing will continue to run. I've had the good fortune of being given some computers from some friends, but of course they've also been, I guess, second-hand computers. And look, I'm not saying, look, I don't appreciate what you've given me, but you know, it's older technology, but it's enough for me to be able to knock around the net and do stuff. But you know, it's not going to be able to allow me to keep up with what everybody else is, you know, able to do. And this was the problem when we had the pandemic, when everybody was, you know, stuck at home, and you know, the people that I was gaming with, you know, most of them, or quite a few of them, were working and had incomes, and they had fairly decent machines, computers or whatever, and you know, they weren't suffering the you know, the trials and tribulations that I constantly had with trying to you know, I think it was my machine that was causing the problems with interaction, with dropouts and lag and all sorts of things. So, but yeah. But as I said, you'll see the computer screen. It'll show you what I've done. Like I've done I still work in what is it, Word? I was about to say Word Perfect. Very few people can probably remember Word Perfect. And there was another one before it. I can't remember what it was, because I used to use that and refused to. Can't remember who produced that. There was one. Geez, I can't remember now. It was very early 80s. There was a word processing software package, and it was one of the ones that was competing with Microsoft. Oh, sorry, not Microsoft. Was it Microsoft? I can't remember. Bill Gates's little bloody empire or whatever it was. So and of course then I've converted the document, because when I went and had a look at it, I thought, oh God, appeared that I didn't save the Word document, because when I looked at it, I saw everything was unformatted. There was a few things were unformatted with the bullet points and things like that was in the document. And of course, then when I went through and I went, I've left off and forgotten one of the monsters. But thankfully, it wasn't too big a don't think it was too big a difference. Oh no, I lie. I did include the monster. It's just that my memory now. See, this is it. You're now starting to review as you're rambling on and talking about things. So, but this is what I've done when I do my modules for myself, is that I've created the module. Sorry, so I've drawn the map. I've drawn the general area wherever the encounter or the situation is occurring. So that information there is for the party. I've then drawn the maps. I've then drawn, in most cases, it's going to be a dungeon, because nearly every party that I've always played with, everyone wants a dungeon. You know, there's very few people who seem to be interested in my style of, you know, political intrigue and wanting to have interaction between people within a township or a village or whatever. They find that that's too difficult for them to deal with. They prefer more direct means of communications through the means of a pointy stick. Yeah, you know, but as you know, as a game master, you need to be able to cater for players, and if that's the way that they want to go, then I guess you need to manipulate, change your game to be able to facilitate the needs of the people that are within your group. So I've done the dungeon, and from the dungeon then I've then included within my little booklet within this, I then had, well, I hate then going, oh, I've got to pull down the monster manual to find because I don't remember everything. I don't have a laptop, or I was using Fantasy Grounds, but people weren't happy with the fact that, again, my system's so slow, it was taking forever for things to load and change and swap things. I don't think they were very happy ultimately with the way that I was doing things. But so with this, I've now included all the monsters that are within the encounters, within the areas. So they're all in there, so that when I come to my section section 4, the whatever the chamber might be, and it'll say there's giant spiders. Fine, so I can skim to my little section, and it'll have giant spider, and it'll have all its stats and everything. It's great. It's all within my little book. So I've got all that information. Then further on, there'll be some of the monsters, or some of the creatures, characters, have spells. So their opponents will have access to spells. So I've included the spell descriptions within the book. So I don't have to go skimming through the player's handbook trying to find it, or having to look up. So bang, all the information's there, and that just makes life so much easier. So I've done that, and I've done the same then with the magic items that or treasure that becomes available to the players. So that's all included within my little publication. Now, the overriding, I suppose, villain that is going to be across the campaign that I've developed, which clearly nobody's going to run into because nobody's playing, is Vecna. And so I went pounding through all my information, through all my old books, and of course it's in the world of Greyhawk. And Wizards have only got very little, maybe not. I really haven't had a great deal of look into the 5th ed stuff, but they don't seem to have given a lot of focus for World of Greyhawk. And so I've had to go back to virtually AD&D to find most of the stuff that I wanted for Vecna, and I did. There was a publication there called WGA4, which was Vecna Lives, and it was really good because it described Vecna, the arch lich, and then it afterwards in the back section it had a thing about his. And I'll go have a look now so that I'm not rambling on and telling a furphy, but so it gives the story of Vecna, which is really, for me, it gives me the information that I am needing for my further plots. And then it talks about Vecna as the demigod. And then it gives a whole heap of information then for role-playing notes. So most of the information is indeed for D&D for second ed. But that does not worry me, because it gives me a basis upon which to play second ed if I want, or AD&D if I want, which I will. Who knows? Probably not. Nobody ever plays it except old buggers like me, and who knows? I'll probably end up not. It's just the fact for me. This is something for me to do to keep me occupied, to take my mind off things that take me down dark and dangerous ways. But it's really good because it talks about the priesthood, talks about the cult of Vecna, and then it talks about the different ranks within Vecna's cult, which makes it really good for me then for my future adventures that I can build on, because now that was one of the things that I had not done when I was developing my my events to start with, because I was the party members had they're chasing around trying to find the druid stones, and Vecna was it was something to do with something that he had organised. But now I've got more details. I now can develop a greater plot and expand upon that while redoing the dungeon. So I'm now looking at the second event that I ran, and again I'll be reviewing, expanding based on how that turned out. So I've nearly rambled for 20 minutes. Who's still here? Probably nobody. Look, I'm quite sure I talked to the ether. But if you have stayed, look, thank you very much. As I said, there'll be 2 more little bits. I think I've looked at, as I said, just the business with the just showing you the computer, and then there's the business with the this publication. So they're 2 little video bits on the end. This might go for probably under 30 minutes. So look, thanks very much for your time. I'll sign off here. I won't disturb my little man. He's really happy and having a good sleep. So till next time, signing off, the Honourable John. Well, we'll see how well this one turns out. So I've finished with my adventure, and I've written it all up. So a little bit of artwork, and then I've created, oh dear, still some bits and pieces. Always happens, isn't it? You always spot things after you've... I don't think I saved it after I had sent it to PDF. But as you can see, I've gone and... No, I didn't, because it's, for some reasons, it's reset the formatting. because once I've done the adventure, and there's like 14 specific rooms, and what I've done is that to save me from grabbing a Dungeon Master's Guide or having to have the little cards or anything, I've included all the creatures that are part of the adventure. And so think of it like a little, I suppose, an adventure, published adventure that's got them, except they're not new creatures, they're ones that already exist, and they are in here, and I've just remembered what I'd forgotten. Always happens, doesn't it? Yes. So then I've included the magic items that were found in the complex. And finally, I have the spells that the cultist leader has. And lastly, Vecna. Now I've included this because this is the first adventure in the campaign. So Vecna is one of the ongoing, or will be the ongoing, person of interest in the campaign. So I found all the notes that I could from a number of Wizard of the Coast or TSR products at the time, and I've included everything that I could in there. A lot of it's come from WGA 4, which is Vecna Lives, and I've included all that in there. So a lot of it's got the old AD&D stats, but that's fine because it's only there as a guideline for me. All I really wanted was just the information. So it's worked out well. Copied a bit of artwork just to give me an idea of what they were, and that's that. And then I always tend to be fairly thorough. Just included acknowledgements in there with my document, just saying where I got the artwork from. Yeah, so that's that. Here, more importantly, is the printed version, and as you can see, it's I try to get things down to an A5 size, so it all came out to eight pages. Yeah, 8 pages, double-sided. So as you can see, I think it looks rather spiffy. So of course everything's moving. So yeah, so there we go. I just got to add the dungeon at the end, and that is the first of my campaign. Oh, there we go. Look, waving. That's the first of my adventures done up. Right, this is the second take, no, not 4 takes, second take of my addendum of saying goodbye. I got sidetracked. Look, different day, a different shirt. The thing I have been doing, I have been reading and listening. I am thoroughly engrossed with an author called L.G. Estrella. E-S-T-R-E-L-L-A, I believe is the spelling. Yes, E-S-T-R-E-L-L-A. Yes, I'm just looking at it on the screen. I'm never scripted, am I? Look, that individual, look, I don't know if it's what the persuasion of this individual is. There's nothing there to indicate, so I'm going to use as neutral a term of pronoun as possible. So if this individual's watching, please don't be offended, and if anybody knows, please let me know. But look, what I want to rave on about there are 2 series. The one that I have thoroughly enjoyed the most is the 2 Necromancers series, and that is written with the main character, Lord Timothy Walter Bolton, or Timmy, as he's called. I just think that's absolutely wonderful that we have a character called Timmy as essentially the main character. And the whole series is called, I believe, the Unconventional Heroes series. And the group expands over time. So he has a 10-year-old apprentice, Katie, which I think is wonderful. Really enjoy that. I think that's an excellent thing. I'm quite sure somebody will probably go, 10-year-old girl apprenticed as a necromancer's apprentice. Oh, a bit dark. But the look, the humour and the wit that is in these books is exceptional. I'm finding constantly bits and bits because I have a lot of trouble trying to sleep, and so consequently I find that these books are my favourites. And I must admit that I have probably listened to these books probably 10 or 20 times, each of them. And admittedly, sometimes I fall asleep, sometimes I don't. But honestly, I've listened to them and I've read, and I've got the books as well. Admittedly, they're in Kindle format, which I'm not happy with. I'd prefer to have physical copies, but I can't get them here, and I'm not somebody that likes to order and hope that they eventually appear in the mail. So I like to walk into a bookshop and go, there's my author, I will buy them and walk away with them. So yes, I'm old-fashioned. Yes, I can see people saying, you silly man, move into the 21st century. But these books, I highly recommend them. The narrator for this series is Fred Berman. This is the reason why I'm doing this a second time, because I got the author's name, the narrator's name wrong. I was calling him Jim. Don't ask me where Jim came from, but I had to scrap it and redo this. But look, the series is excellent, and the other series is called Attempted Vampirism. And it's just the opening premise of this vampire noble being kicked out of his ancestral castle because of back taxes on debt. I can't remember. Anyway, the what is it? The county, the king, whatever it is. The tax assessors have turned up to reclaim the castle, and literally they do. They collect the whole castle, and there's poor old Jonathan stuck on, basically in bunny slippers. I think he has. It's been a while since I've read them, but I thoroughly enjoy it. And so he joins this group of adventurers. Obviously, his main goal is to reclaim enough money to be able to buy back his family castle. And the story is developing onwards. And the narrator for this one, this series, if you get it through Audible, you get books 1 and 2 as a package, which is really, really good. And the narrator there is Joel Fruemkin, who thankfully I could do a search on within Audible, so that I could see what his narration skills were, and I was really impressed. And I'm thinking, he's going to do a really, really good job. I think so. I'm really looking forward to these. So look, I've just probably added another 5.5 minutes onto my already rather lengthy. The lights are gone out. My computer's gone. I now got the blue screen. Dear. See, Mickey Mouse production. Anyway, look, if you're looking for some holiday reading or some holiday listening, and I really do recommend the listening, because the narration really adds so much more to the books. Now, I'm not sure if they're whisper synced, because I think initially I bought all the audios before I got into eKindle. So have a look and see whether or not, because that way then you can get, like I now buy a lot of I go initially to see whether or not the book's available in eKindle, and the whisper sync to an audio, which is really good because it means that I can literally read and listen to the narrator. And when you've got a really good narrator who makes the books just literally pop and sing, it's wonderful. So look, if you can, LG Estrella, sorry, please forgive me if I'm butchering your name. Look, people butcher MacDonald in so many ways, misspell it, mispronounce it. It depends whether or not I go home to Ireland or to Scotland, or if I wander into London. I get so many different pronunciations of my name that it's almost impossible to really get offended. I'm not the person to be offended. Good Lord. Yes. All right, look, thank you yet again. And look, this will be the last time, and I shall catch you with the next video. Bye-bye.